Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Rebecca, and I am the host of Crafting and Crime Daily, currently covering the case of Robert Tejas. I've been saying Tellis. He says Tejas. Uh, State of Nevada versus Robert Tejas for the murder of Jeff German, which is spelled German, but pronounced German. Anyway, day 6 was such a strange day. You guys, it was beyond weird. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. So, yeah, day 6 was. Look, it says I'm okay, and there's yarn down here. I know it's weird. I'm sorry. So, this is the day that the defense is going to take the stand. But first, we have a couple of witnesses. The first one was a woman by the name of Nicole Lofton, who opted not to have her face shown on camera. So we just got to see, like, from here to here, her sitting on the witness stand. So she worked at the public administrator's office. She was hired by Robert Tejas. And she felt like Robert, when she first started the job, he was very inviting, and there was 9 people that she worked with. So the office, she felt, was very divisive. And at one point, she was asked to take sides in this, people that didn't like Robert and people who did. She liked him. She felt he was very helpful. They would go out, when she had real property as part of her cases, he'd go out with her, and she didn't have any issues with him. She said that after the articles were published by Jeff German, written by Jeff German and published by, what was the name of the company that published it? It escapes me right now. I'm sorry. So after those articles appear, she said, no, he didn't seem angry about them. No. She said but the office was very tense. She refused to take a side, and she never witnessed any retaliation by the defendant. When the people in the office started surveilling him and these articles came out, and they were the source of the articles, the information in the articles, she didn't sense that he was retaliating against anybody, but she said she felt very bullied in that office. Very bullied. I don't think she's there anymore. That was her testimony. Okay. So then we have the Planet Fitness manager. We're getting to the alibi, folks. On September 2nd, this log was admitted into court. It was multiple pages of everybody that signed in or, came in. There's an app on your phone now. Most people use the app, and they'll just pull up a barcode, and they have the little thing at the counter, and you hold your phone up to it, and you can go in. So he was on this log for September 2nd, 12:09 p.m., checking in to the Planet Fitness. This is near his home. So this was not the Planet Fitness that he signed up for his membership, but it's the one he was using on that day. And that was the testimony. So the jury had a question of this guy. Was there any video footage of him? Nope. No. There was, but I don't know. Wasn't available anymore. Because the defense said he did ask for it. The defense attorney said he asked for the video footage, didn't get it. Anyway, the next person on the stand is Robert Tejas. Tejas, whatever. Folks, this is the strangest thing I have ever seen in a courtroom. I'm just going to say it right now. He was allowed to testify via narration. So his attorney's not asking any questions. He's got He wants, at one point, he wanted all the exhibits. I want all the exhibits here. And they're like, all of the exhibits? And he's got notes, and, he's, during his testimony, he's trying to enter things into evidence. And I'm like, oh my God, he is a lawyer. He's a lawyer. Was a lawyer, is a lawyer. I don't know what the status of his bar card is, but. So he starts off by telling the jury that he is unequivocally innocent. And then he said, well, when the medical examiner testified, that was the first time he learned how Mr. Gurman died. He said, the man's throat was slashed and he was stabbed in the heart. That's somebody that's trained. I don't have any kind of training like that. I've never been in combat. Is it somebody trained? I mean, I guess that was a good point to make to the jury. Anyway, so then he goes into his background. He said, he talked about how he went to high school. After high school, he was into computers, and he started working in computers until he wasn't working in computers anymore. Anyway, he transitions and eventually through these other jobs, and he starts working in air conditioners. And while he's working on air conditioners, he decides because he's got a very analytical mind, he's going to go to law school at night, part-time. That's what he did. And then he met his wife. His wife had a son, so this is his stepson. And then he had a daughter from a previous marriage, and then the two of them together, they have a daughter. So after he goes to law school, he opens his own probate firm. And then during this probate firm, during his tenure running his own firm, he kept running into this public administrator at the courthouse, during hearings and stuff. And he got hired to be the attorney on some of these probate things, which is how he became familiar with the public administrator's office. So then he starts talking about his concerns once he took office himself. He decided to run. He took office, and someone brought to his attention, he didn't say who it was, I can't read my own writing, sorry, that Compass Realty was not on the up and up. One of his concerns when he first started taking office was that there were all these independent administrators out there making tons of money, and they doing it by buying the property and then reselling it at a much, much higher price. So then he pulls out this spreadsheet that he wants to show the jury. I don't know that the jury actually ever got to see this spreadsheet. It has over 60 cases on it. The majority of the cases are Compass Realty. And he said if you total up the purchase price of all of those homes between the time they were sold, in totality, between the time they were sold and initially purchased by Compass Realty as the administrator, and then resold sometimes the same day. Sometimes they would be double the price. He pointed out one home that was purchased for $232,000 on a particular day, and that same day, Compass Realty turned around and sold it for $50,000 more than the purchase price. Then he talked about another home where they went in as the independent administrator, and they took, because he had pictures of it when the person that was inside of it initially was deceased, and there was a full kitchen in there. And the Compass really took over as an independent administrator, by watching the courts to see the bills pile up. And so they file with the court, and they get this property, and they strip the kitchen out. Everything's gone out of the kitchen. Then they get it appraised. They purchase it. And then they put the kitchen back in and sell it for a huge profit. That's clever. Anyway, okay. So he said he went to the legislature over this and got some of the laws changed. That's cool. He began filing objections against these independent administrators, including Compass Realty. And at that point, Compass Realty starts pushing back. They started to fight back because they were probably the most common third-party administrator that he was filing complaints against. So they start filing false claims against him. Then he talked about Rita Reed decides she's working in the office as like the assistant public administrator. Anyway, she decides she's going to run for the office of public administrator because she's one of these, she's inside of the office that doesn't like him. She gets $10,000 in campaign contributions from Compass Realty. And Robert says that $9,000 out of the $10,000 she spent on a text message project to publicize the articles that were being published about him. And that's how she won the primary and went on to win the election. Then at this point, he's trying to give his opinion on Detective Jaffe's testimony and why Detective Jaffe's testimony wasn't accurate. And the judge is shutting him down because the state keeps objecting, hearsay, blah, 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 whatever. And he's like, I'm allowed to give my opinion. And she's like, no, you're not. Your opinion's not relevant here. The jury, you're not allowed to comment on testimony. It's the jury's duty to evaluate the testimony, not yours. You can only testify to facts and circumstances that you're aware of. No opinions. So he didn't like that. But he's very calm. He's like, okay, okay. We'll get there. Well, he's looking for things like he wants to show. At one point, he wanted to show a video of a hearing, and that didn't happen. So he was saying that he asked Kimberly McMahon. Now, Kimberly McMahon is the former detective from this police department, the Las Vegas Metro Police Department, that became a realtor after she retired and accused Robert Tejas of asking her percentages of her commission in exchange for him funneling these properties to her. He says that this was like years ago, 3 years before this, and he had asked her for a referral fee for something he gave to her out of his probate office, not out of the public administrator's office. So then he said that the Sunday after the murder, well, he talked a lot about the rims of the tires. He went back to the conversation that he had with the woman he was having an affair with when she found out about the murder, and they're texting back and forth about the vehicle. And she had pointed out to him that the rims on the front were different from the rims from the back. And he goes, well, that's not my vehicle. And he goes home and he looks, and his vehicle has the same rims all the way around. And what? So why are you looking? If you didn't commit the murder, what do you care what your rims look like on your vehicle? I don't know. Anyway, so then he talks about how the Sunday after the murder happens on Friday. Sunday, he's making chicken and rice for his daughter because she didn't like school lunches, on Monday. So he's ahead of time. He's making chicken and rice for his daughter. Now, he's going to get Dad of the Year for that. Chicken and rice. He cut his finger laterally. And then he goes on to explain that he wanted to use super glue to keep the tip of his finger back on. I don't know why he didn't go to the hospital. Anyway, he gets out a knife because, when you open some used super glue, you have to cut the tip off because it gets caked into the tip and it gets clogged. So he gets out the scissors out of the drawer and he cuts the tip off, and that's when the blood gets on the handle of the knife, his blood. Good Lord. Then the day was over. He's not done. Today, he's going to probably be on the stand all day, just blah, 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 blah. And he's trying to, it is such a fiasco. Like, he's asking for exhibits. Can you find I think the state presented it. I don't remember the number, but I need the one where, oh my God, you guys, this is a circus. It's a circus. So, I will bring you the rest of his testimony tomorrow, Friday. I don't think we're going to get to closing arguments today. First of all, one of the things going on in this case is they don't start court in the morning until 10:30. 10:30 Vegas time, which is almost my nap time. So they start court at 10:30, and then they'll go for like an hour, and they'll have this long break, and then they'll go another hour, and then they'll have a 2-hour lunch, and then they'll go, it's literally about 4 hours of testimony for each day total, out of a long day. So I don't think we're going to get to closing arguments today, Thursday. That will probably be tomorrow, I would think. Now, then the question becomes, does the jury want to spend the weekend thinking about this, or are they going to come to a quick verdict on this? I think there's a lot of stuff that they're probably going to want to talk about when they get back into that jury room. Like, what the? That's what I would be doing. If I got back, I'm like, did y'all just watch the same trial I watched? Because what the hell? Yeah, it's a mess. It is a mess. But here's what they're trying to do, the defense, and his attorney is letting him do it. He doesn't come off as completely crazy. Like, I'm thinking, oh my God, this guy's just going to ramble on. And he seems his thoughts very organized. His story's kind of organized. He's not being allowed to tell it the way he wants to tell it, or present it the way he wants to present it. But I'm not getting crazy from it. So now the jury has to go back and decide, do they have a reasonable doubt that he committed this murder? Have they put on enough evidence to make this jury put a doubt into their mind as to whether someone, because he says, Compass Realty was framing me. They were pushing back. They framed me through a guy named Thomas More. I don't know who Thomas More is. We haven't heard from anybody named Thomas More. But the jury's got to figure out, can they get over that hurdle, that doubt that they've put, that's been placed in all of our minds now? Like, how did Compass Realty enlist the help of Detective Jaffe and plant this evidence and use a vehicle that would look just like his vehicle after the murder was committed? What? I don't think this is going to be a quick verdict. I really don't. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. I would love to hear it. Meanwhile, I'm going back to watch the rest of the Democratic National Convention because it is so good. Last night was so good with Oprah Winfrey and Pete Buttigieg, and I just loved it. Loved it. Coach Walls. I love Coach Walls. Like, I want to have lunch with this guy. Yeah, potential vice president. Yeah. Anyway, I'm fascinated by the whole thing. Fascinated. Anyway, have a wonderful day, everybody. Love you, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video where we will have the remainder of Robert Tejas' testimony. Have a wonderful day. Take care, everybody. Bye.